All right, YouTube, what is it really like for a session musician just starting out in this world to fly around the country and play gigs? Today we're going to find out. Greetings YouTube, back again for another video, a little bit different today. I think we're going to do a bit of a tour vlog of a day in the life of an amateur touring musician. But if you like this sort of stuff, please consider liking and subscribing. That would be really cool. Helps the channel out. We're only bee's dick away from 500, so if you could do that, that would be sick. So for those of you that are new here, my name's Andrew. I am a guitarist. I currently work for a local country artist named Cassidy-Rae as a session muso and a producer on her new music, which is really cool. The last 2 weekends I was in Melbourne and Sydney. We're just going to do a bit of a video about the Melbourne show that was last weekend and, you know, what it's like living in a different city, flying to a gig, playing a gig and heading home. Morning, it is 4 o'clock in the morning and we're at the airport. Let's go check in and get my body weight in coffee and get on this flight and get down to Melbourne. See you soon.
All bags and heavy items, this including the handbag.
So I live in Queensland in Australia, which is roughly this far away from here, Melbourne, where we played. So the gig was on Saturday night, so Saturday morning, got up stupid early, 3 o'clock for a 6 a.m. flight. Got to Melbourne, cold as balls, raining. Went out and had brekkie at De Graves Street, I think it is, a little alleyway, this place. And I got a bagel with scrambled eggs and grilled chorizo with a side of bacon, and I inherited Cassidy-Rae's mum's smoked salmon, and it was banging. Such a good brekkie. Went and checked in at the hotel, hung around for a couple of hours, walked to the venue because it was only a 5-minute walk from where we were staying, and yeah, did bump in, did sound check, and we ended up doing that VIP meet and greet for a bunch of fans, which was a really cool experience.
Wait a minute, you wanna take a listen to the song I'm singing? I wanna follow my heart.
I got to meet a whole bunch of crazy Cassidy fans who were awesome. For some reason, they got me to sign a bunch of autographs, but, you know, it was good fun. Show itself went sick. We played for 2.5 hours. We went to play for 2. We didn't get through all the songs that we wanted to do because we were talking too much. The nature of the show being acoustic, being very intimate, was a lot of Q&A, lots of chats about how we record the songs and produce them and how they were written and all that sort of fun stuff, which I think translated really well with the crowd that was there, because they were all sort of you know, Cassidy-Rae super fans. Having that sort of intimate show was really cool and it was really fun. Super vibey, super low key. I think we played really well. The songs translated acoustically awesome, especially considering that we only rehearsed that show once 3 weeks ago. They're all songs that we play normally, you know, with a full band, but when it's just an acoustic, or in our case 2 acoustics or an acoustic and a piano, performing 2 hours worth of music on one rehearsal was daunting, and you know, that goes for anyone. TOF is such a vibey little venue. If you're in Melbourne, you ever get a chance to go check out a band there, do it, because it was sick. And yeah, we were done and dusted and out of the venue by about 9:30 at night, which is kind of unheard of for us. So, you know, early morning was kind of feeling it a bit. So, you know, to be back at the hotel at a reasonable hour was actually kind of nice. But yeah, next morning, got up, had a shower, got the bags, caught an Uber back to the airport, and then back to sunny Queensland. Left Melbourne and it was like fucking 7 degrees or some bullshit, and landed back on the Gold Coast and it was 20 odd, and I was wearing jackets and jeans and that, so I cooked basically. All in all, it was a really cool weekend. I'm going to talk about the rig that I was using on the show as well. This one was a little bit different for us because it was an acoustic show. So because it was a fly gig, it was a little bit limited to what I could bring. So I only had one guitar with me, a Maton SRS 70C. You guys have seen them on YouTube a million times before. Australian made Dreadnought Cutaway AP5 Pro pickup, so it's got the piezo pizza pickup in it and also a microphone. This was the first time that I've rolled out a Tonex live, for one, but I also used it live as an acoustic preamp, and I was actually pleasantly surprised with how it went. In the last video that I did, which I'll put up here if you want to check it out, it was basically a K&K Pure preamp, and I cloned that onto both sides of the Tonex one pedal. One side was drier with less compression and less reverb. The other one was more compression, more reverb for like finger picking sort of stuff. And it killed it. It actually sounded really good. Got compliments from the front of house staff. Could not be happier. So the pedal board that I was running for this show, this is just a pedal train Nano Plus. I run a pedal train Junior normally. So this is literally just like one row off it. So by rights, it can fit into the hard case that I've got. This lived in a soft case, went on to carry-on luggage, and it was awesome. So what we've got running in the signal chain is Tonex 1 going into a Boss tuner. Ideally, I would have liked to have the tuner up first, and that's, you know, the proper way to run it. But for some reason, having the tuner first was introducing some like whiny sort of noise into the signal path. Putting the tuner second fixed that. So I don't know if it's an issue with a really cheap Joyo power supply, or if it's just an old Boss TU2 that was doing it. Either way, it ended up fine. From the tuner, Boss DD7. Truthfully, I didn't actually use it. I was mucking around in rehearsals and I was putting a bit of delay onto some stuff and it sounded cool. Live, I didn't even bother, didn't even use it. And then Hall of Fame 2, I only used 2 tone prints on it. One was a spring reverb for some of the softer songs, just to give it a bit more of a washed out ambient vibe in some sections. And then the other one was a Hall that was a great big mess, really. Sounded killer. Lots and lots of reverb for some of the quieter songs that had like single notes that I just wanted to wash out and sound kind of ambient and trippy, and it worked really, really good. So this was my first show using the Maton live. I've recorded with it and obviously played it at home a shit ton since I've gotten it, and it held up really good. I've had a few teething issues with it, getting it set up the way I like, and I think I might even send it off to get professionally set up, fret level and that sort of thing, because it seems like I've got enough relief in the neck, but when it gets down to the lower frets, you know, above like the 15th, I think the frets may be a little bit too tall, and especially in the region of an acoustic guitar that I don't ever touch, so I wouldn't mind getting those frets leveled off a little bit lower, just to, you know, when you're playing on the upper frets, it won't buzz out as much as what it does now. It doesn't really do it a lot unless you dig in, but it is kind of noticeable, which was pissing me off. I was nervous about flying with an acoustic because I never have before, but in the Maton case, the thing rocked up into Melbourne, was still in tune, rocked up back on the Gold Coast, still in tune, happy days. But the big takeaway guitar-wise on this gig was the Tonex, and specifically using the Tonex as a preamp for an acoustic guitar. In the past, I've only ever predominantly run acoustics DI, so I don't have a lot of experience when it comes to preamps and how they sound and how they may affect your acoustics tone in a live environment. So take this with a grain of salt. From what I experienced on that gig, the only downside to that Tonex and the tones that I was getting was user error. So in that last video up here, we dialed in the tones and it all sounded great in my headphones and in studio monitors, and that was cool. I was happy with that. Translating that live, I think I overcompensated by rolling out too much low end so it wouldn't get boomy, and maybe boosting too much of the top end to make it sound, you know, nice and crystal clean and cutting. In reality, in that room, on the sound system that they were using, the acoustic sounded a little bit thin and a little bit bright. Nothing overwhelming though, and nothing that the sound guys couldn't fix up with a bit of EQ on their desk. But knowing that moving forward, I think I'd go back in and retweak those presets just to, you know, tame a bit of the top end and maybe bring back in a bit of the low end. If anything, I probably could have adjusted it on the fly on my acoustic preamp, but didn't. They did it in front of house and it was all sweet. I think the biggest saving grace though was using the preset for the K&K Pure on both sides of the Tone X1. So when I changed my presets, the EQ off that preset didn't necessarily change all that much. Knowing what I know now, I think I'd just tone it down a little bit, because I think, and correct me if I'm wrong and please do, having a louder signal with, you know, like at a live show, those frequencies that I cut in the low end and then boosted in the top end were greatly exaggerated at higher volume. So I think I just need to be a little bit more cautious with how I set up my presets and then go from there. But all in all, man, that little fucking pedal just keeps on blowing me away. Not only does it do the preamp thing for acoustic, all the stuff that I've been recording lately with Cassidy, I've been using the Tone X, and it sounds fucking killer. So I graduated to a Tone X1 from a New X Amp Academy, and the difference between those two units is night and day. I could not be happy with that little pedal. So much so that I'm considering investing in the bigger one, because we're going to look at going silent stage soon. So having the bigger one with like 3 presets per bank at your foot, verse, chorus, solo, verse, chorus, effects, whatever you want to do, I think would be really, really, really helpful, because I'm already invested in the ecosystem and I know how to use the unit and I'm happy with it. So I think maybe, you know, upgrading to the big one might be a good thing. In other news though, I've been, like I said, doing production work for Cassidy. About 2 weeks ago, we released the first song that I produced for her. The song's called Dopamine. I will link it down below. Please go check it out. It would mean the world to me, because, you know, I produced a song here and it's a garage. So we're going to go for a little look around. You know, garage doors, toolbox, storage unit and all sort of stuff. There's nothing high tech or glamorous about this. We are literally in a single garage on the Gold Coast. But in this place, I was able to produce a song for an artist that I work for. That song has gone #1 on the AMRAP charts, which is the Australian independent radio charts. Debuted at number 17 on a country chart here as well, and only today has gotten up to number 17, which is cool. I'm a little bit, like, I'm very proud of the work that we've done. I'm not going to say I'm surprised, because I think it's a good song, but the reception that we've been getting from this song, you know, the recording of it and playing it live, has been overwhelmingly good, and it warms the cockles off my cold, dead heart. Again, every guitar tone on that recording is done with a Tone X, straight into a Focusrite 404, minimal post-processing, and the song's a killer. So, you know, pretty happy about that. I haven't really got much else to tell you, to be honest. I think I'm going to do another video in a couple of days when I get time on the Tone X, just because it's a good bit of kit that I'm excited about, and I keep on getting more excited the more I use it. But I'm thinking of doing a video where I grab 3 different guitars and run them all through the same amp, doing a clean sound and then a dirty sound. So it'll be 1 amp, 3 guitars. This is what it sounds like. What amp do you guys want to hear first? Is there an amp that you guys want to see? And let me know and I will do it. You can do more than one. I'll just do multiple videos. Why the hell not? Got nothing else to do. That's a lie. I'm busy as shit. Anyway, I think that's enough on one video. I've had enough of me rambling. I'm sure as fuck you have as well. So I'm going to go to bed. Thanks for watching. Like and subscribe. Share it with your mum. Do whatever you have to do. But thanks for that. Peace out.